Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Painting takes the most time of the whole restoration project. Why? Well, because you have to get ready to paint. And then you have to mask off things that you don't want painted. And then you have to paint. And then you have to remove the masking. By the time you get all that done, you can see that about 2/3 of this video was just putting a little bit of a pigmented, oil-based paint on the parts. Well, that part's done. All freed up, straightened up. Oh, that works good. Last step. Perfect. And I can turn it, but it doesn't like it. And part of that is just because I have to put enough torque on it that it wants to cant around. And this is a 1/4-inch drill bit. And that's much more likely to do a reasonable job. Actually, it needs sharpened. Makes a big difference when it's sharp. So it'll go up to 27/64, but I don't recommend it. I think if you were drilling into something a little harder than this old 2x4, I would have had a really rough time trying to get that 27/64 drill bit through that chunk of wood. This is a 3/32. I think we'll find that'll spin right through there. Yeah, I hardly have to turn the drill bit at all. I could practically just shove it through. Only thing that it did was it loaded up the flutes on the drill bit. Made it a little hard to go through. Now I can imagine that I could go down to the smallest drill bit I own, because that chuck will really go right down to almost infinitesimal. According to the internet, this drill was made right up until about 1957. And I imagine this is one of the later ones. This one was made on up into the 60s. It's a little different in the way it's put together. Like the handle is zinc plated, and so is the chuck. It's not nickel plated. This one was nickel plated. This one is zinc. Castings are very similar. This one's a little bit thicker, but the knob and the castings and pretty much everything is the same. This knob came off of a different drill. It was a donor, because this one came without one, and I happen to have a spare in the cabinet, so I just swapped it out. So I think if I put as much effort into this one, shining it up as I did this one, they would be a pretty nice pair of drills. And this one is a number 2AG, and this one is a number 2A. I do like how that chuck polish came out. Couldn't get the knurls to polish up, but then I didn't expect it to. But the chuck itself, just the steel, took a pretty good shine. So, now this drill is all put together, tested, oiled. It's ready to go on the shelf. Going to go into the rack actually. And it'll be the go-to drill for small holes. I can put a 25/64 drill bit through a piece of 2x4, but I think 1/4 inch is about the max that it's going to do. And the little drill bits doesn't seem to have any trouble at all with. But I tend to use a smaller Eggbeater when I run into small bits, just because it's more convenient. So that's the story of the Miller Falls number 2A hand drill. Started out just to see if I could get it to work at all, and now I'm really happy with it. I like this one probably as well as any of the drills that I own. I like using this WD-40 Specialist oil. The reason for that is it's a dry lube, PTFE spray. You want to oil these every time you use them, and when you do that, the oil gets all over everything. Everything you drill gets a little bit of film of oil on it. But this stuff doesn't seem to have that problem. Now, I don't know what it does as far as finishes. I mean, if you're spraying this on a piece of wood and then trying to put varnish on it, you might have problems. It doesn't say silicone. Petroleum distillates. But I'm assuming everything's proprietary on it. Non-food compounds, program listed H2. That's probably a California thing. But I do like this a lot better for anything that needs oil. The big old crank drill press, yeah, I still oil it because, you know, I drill steel on that. It's not a thing for drilling wood. Something like this, when you don't want to have oil all over everything and you don't want to have your hands all crapped up with oil, dry lube's a really good thing. Works well, keeps everything lubricated, doesn't drip off, and when you go to pick it up next time, because it's dry lube, it's still there. Works pretty good. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching. This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union, without the express written permission of the parents or legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.